There are a lot of posts that point out that meltdowns are different to tantrums. They're meant to be helpful, to separate an autonomic protective reflex from bad behaviour, support and understand one, but punish the other. But they don't help. A child in distress is a child in distress. They need support and understanding. Full stop. Tantrums don't exist. They never did. They're an explanation of what is happening when a child is overwhelmed, when their needs aren't met. And it was created before we understood about either child development or how our brains worked. And it exists to this day because we get stuck on ideas. Tantrums assume that the child is intentionally manipulating the parent. And we as parents can certainly feel manipulated, because our primal reflex is to respond to distress and meet the young person's needs. It's a survival instinct. So we feel a strong impulse to agree and can feel that that appeal to our impulse is intentional. It takes willpower to ignore our need to nurture and replace it for the less natural dominance mode, the good parent who never gives in. The thing is, manipulation is a learned skill. It takes not only awareness of others as separate individuals, but a strong understanding of what their response will be to a certain action. Research in child development has shown that even the basics of these skills don't start occurring until around 6 or 7 and don't fully develop until our early 20s. It's beyond the scope of a toddler. Their reasoning is at a much less sophisticated stage. So what is happening when a child explodes in big emotions when we say no? It's because our air traffic controller has identified something that'll meet a survival need. A cookie for energy, a new thing for a dopamine boost, attention to ensure our protector is still looking out for us. I need this thing to survive. And if the parent says no, Panic Monkey starts to bounce around saying, if we don't get this, we will die. Now, we as adults know the child's safe, the lunch is soon, there's other ways to boost dopamine, there's no predators we need to be on the alert for. So we say no, because we're in charge, right? We need to establish that our autonomy trumps the young person's autonomy. This is what we've been taught to do. This is what we've been taught a good parent is. Now, we don't recognize it as a refusal to meet needs because that's not what behaviorism teaches us. And unlearning that and learning that actually meeting needs is a good thing is a very important thing to do as a parent. So when the need isn't met, the child has lost their safe route, and at their age they don't have any other routes to safety. What they asked for is usually the only solution the air traffic controller has. So two things happen simultaneously. First, Panic Monkey runs around screaming, "We're going to die!" and calls in Dino Brain to help rescue us, our autonomic protective response. Second, our brain goes into hyperdrive, trying to think, is there a better way to say, I need this, because clearly the first way wasn't understood. B, is there any other possible safe route I can switch to? So the air traffic controller is now far too busy to try and stop Panic Monkey and Dino Brain, and they end up taking charge. In this situation, Dino Brain usually opts for hero hunting, usually flood, in order to get the need met, and will start pumping emotional chemicals to trigger a strong emotional response. It knows we are primed as adults to respond to a crying baby and meet its needs. It's a way for their Dino Brain to talk directly to your Dino Brain. If the parent says yes, the crisis is averted, the safe route's restored, all goes back to normal, Dino Brain goes back to sleep, and the response is quite quick. And so we can believe that the emotion was fake because it goes from storm to sunshine so quickly. But it's just that we are now safe, Dino Brain doesn't need to be involved, and has gone back to sleep. If the parent distracts by offering another viable safe route that Panic Monkey knows will meet the need, then the safe route is still returned, different but still safe. All goes back to normal. If it's something Panic Monkey isn't sure about, then it won't accept it as a safe route. It is the same as if the parent had said no. The threat remains. Dino brain ups the emotional chemicals and a full flood will happen. If the parent leaves or ignores the child, then it's very clear to Dino brain there's no hero to call for help from. So Dino brain will switch to flop to conserve energy. The emotions switch off. The need is not going to be met. By disconnecting, it allows the air traffic controller to reset and look for other safe routes instead. We think the child has settled down. We think the child has given up. In actual fact, it's gone into a much lower protective state. It's not great at all. Our panic monkey will note the adult is not a safe protector and will learn that this isn't a person to be trusted as a protector, to not ask directly anymore because requests get refused, and will learn how to manipulate instead because they've learnt that direct doesn't work. Manipulation is the only way to get their needs met, to figure out how to trigger other people's automatic responses. Often, children in this situation will switch to fawn as a protective mechanism. If I please this person and make them happy, maybe they will protect me in return. The child starts to constantly seek reassurance, constantly looking for confirmation that their protector is happy and is willing to defend them. They will volunteer for things. They will become an extreme people pleaser. What is known as a tantrum is actually the same autonomic protective response we see from sensory or processing overloads. It just has a different cause and so needs a different response. By meeting the need, even if you don't meet the demand.